What's going on, guys? I wanted to talk to you today about the Antonio Brown and Raiders deal or trade. And more importantly than that, how good it actually is for Antonio Brown to be with the Oakland Raiders. Because I know some people are saying, well, the Oakland Raiders aren't as good as the Steelers. Well, here's the thing. People are forgetting that the Oakland Raiders will no longer be the Oakland Raiders. They're going to Vegas. So if we just take a little quick dive into the whole entire situation as it relates to him going to the Raiders, he got traded to them for a third and a fifth round draft pick, which based on the Raiders is a steal. He literally had $38 million incentivized left on his Steelers deal. He had no guaranteed money left because the Steelers don't guarantee past the first year. That was one of the issues that Le'Veon Bell had with them because Le'Veon Bell was saying, hey, look, I'm one of the top three running backs in the league. I should not only be getting paid for what I do, which is catching the ball out of the backfield as a receiver, but as also a running back. And I feel like I should get more guaranteed money, which is what he was actually hoping for and which is what he got in New York. People still talking about that deal. Oh, well, he didn't get as much money. First of all, there's aftermarket money. He's in New York City. It's one of the largest markets, especially for media-wise, that you can possibly have. Plus, he got more guaranteed money, and that was his thing. So whether he gets hurt, whether he does well, he's going to have that safety net. So Antonio Brown goes to the Oakland Raiders for a $54.125 million deal with $30.125 million guaranteed over 3 years. Think about that. That means that now he went from having no guaranteed money to having more than half of his entire deal guaranteed. And in addition to that, he's getting ready to be the biggest star on a new team in one of the biggest showman cities there is, Las Vegas, Nevada. So he's taking the BOOMIN brand to a booming city in Las Vegas where he's going to be the star of the Raiders. And in addition to that, they have 3 first-round picks. So now Antonio Brown is going to be a part of the rebuilding process for the Raiders and is going to get credit with helping to bring the Raiders back to prominence. Plus, he doesn't have to worry about feeling like he's not wanted, like he's not the man or one of the men. Because that was his issue. I mean, you had the Steelers saying Big Ben is playing with 52 kids. You had Antonio Brown going to the head coach saying, look, man, I'm hurt. I'm not feeling too well. I need to go recoup. Can I go? And they told him straight up. Mike Tomlin told him, go home. Go home. Don't go to the training room. You know what I'm saying? Don't just work on a few routes over here. You know what I'm saying? Don't let, the trainers or anybody look at you. Just go home. That's literally what it came down to. And Antonio Brown's whole thing was, I want to be treated like I've earned the right to be treated with this organization. Now, whether or not you agree with his antics as it relates to what he's done once he's left the Steelers, if you agree with his antics while he was with the Steelers, that's an entirely different situation. But as it relates to how he's performed on the field, from the fact that he has outperformed every deal they've given him, he has been one of the top 5 receivers for, I don't know, past how many years. He deserves more respect than what he was getting. And especially as a dependent position as wide receiver is, you can't have your quarterback trying to throw you under the bus saying, hey, you running a bad route here, or it's Antonio Brown's fault for this, or blaming other guys, because at the end of the day, it's a team sport, which also led to guys like Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell leaving in this regard. When Le'Veon Bell was actually going through his whole contract negotiations, Antonio Brown was literally saying, bruh, get your money, and I'll be here when you get back. But Le'Veon had like the offensive line and other people telling him he needs to come back and don't worry about getting paid. But here's the one thing that you understand. If you've ever played football or if you know anything about that world, you understand that everybody's tied into each other. Football is the biggest team sport there is. Everybody is dependent upon each other. The wide receiver is going to have a harder time if the running game isn't good. The running game is going to have a hard time if the receiving game isn't good. The running game is going to have a hard time if the O-line can't open up gaps. The receiving game is going to have a hard time if the O-line can't cover or make their blocks. So in essence, everybody in some way, shape, form, or fashion is impacting each other's financial situation. Because if you have a solid running game for guys like Marquise Pouncey and others to go and say, hey, Le'Veon Bell needs to just come on here, it makes no sense. Because if Le'Veon Bell looks good, then you get paid. Antonio Brown gets paid. Everybody else gets paid if Le'Veon Bell's doing his job. So in essence, what you said is, Le'Veon Bell, you come back, you perform and do your duties, which is in turn going to make us look better so we can fulfill the contractual obligations that we have. And then after the season's over, you worry about getting paid after the fact. So help us get paid, and then you worry about it later on down the road, which is not cool, which is what caused Le'Veon Bell to go that way. So if you're Antonio Brown and you're sitting here and you're hearing all this stuff, and then you have upper management saying what they're saying, and then you looking at these guys in the locker room, or like your quarterback calling you out for things, you're like, man, I don't want to be up in here. I'm done. I'm good. I'm out. So when he was trying to get traded, they were going to send him to other teams, and Antonio Brown was pretty much like, bro, I'm telling you straight off bat, I'm not going. And we're not going to get into the fact that when they tried to send him to the Buffalo Bills, and there's that rumor out there that Antonio Brown with, one of the safeties, old ladies, but, that was that's a whole nother situation. Like I said, that has nothing to do with it. So Antonio Brown was like, dude, if you send me to a team I don't want to go to, I'm not showing up. So other teams got wind of the fact that, look, the Steelers have no bargaining chips. They can't send Antonio Brown to wherever he wants to go. Antonio Brown has to be willing to go there. So you can't, as an organization, demand a first-round pick here or 3 second-round picks or whatever you're trying to get, because of the simple fact that Antonio Brown might not even show up. So why would I give you that? So what the Steelers did was they went to Antonio Brown's team and they told him straight up, you find out where you can go. We'll help work out the trade situation as far as picks is concerned. You and your team try to figure out if you can get if you can get the finances that you're looking for, the guaranteed dollars you're looking for at another organization, go get it and we'll send you there. Because at that point, they didn't want to have Antonio Brown in the locker room because they thought he was a distraction, and because he had burned the bridges or was lighting the bridges on fire while the offseason was going on. They were like, we can't have him back in the locker room. But when you hear all these other players saying what they're saying about the Steelers organization, it does raise questions about the coaching staff and the front office, and let alone the guys in the locker room. Because this didn't happen when Troy Polamalu was in that locker room. This didn't happen when, Gay was in that locker room, or when other veterans like Jerome Bettis and other guys was in that locker room. These things did not happen. But you're dealing with the new generation of players who are all starting to understand that they are their own brand. And so when you have guys out here who are trying to be the man, just like the next guy's trying to be the man, it creates a combustible dynamic that isn't always good for a team. Sometimes it can work out where you have a combustible dynamic like the Legion of Boom had, where these guys was going at each other's heads, but they was going at the guys on the field way worse than they were going at each other. But eventually that fell apart too, primarily due to injury. And also because guys wanted to get paid and they weren't trying to pay him. Case in point, Earl Thomas. Or Richard Sherman for that matter. But you know what I'm saying? It really works out well for Antonio Brown because he's going to be the biggest star in the biggest showman city, which is Las Vegas, Nevada. And he's going to be the guy on the team this year and probably next year. Plus, he's getting the 3 first-round draft picks to come play alongside him. So now he's going to be part of an up-and-coming team who is going to try to make sure that they get him the ball because there's no receiver on that receiving core that's better than him. And in addition to that, he has a young defense with some veteran mix-up. So now it's going to be interesting. I can't wait to see exactly what goes on. I won't make any predictions as to their record because number one, we don't know who's drafting who. Number one, I haven't taken a look at their schedule, and more importantly than that, you want to see how these guys work well together. We want to see how Derek Carr works well with Antonio Brown. In addition to that, I also feel like the Raiders need to draft a running back. That's just me. But who am I? Because that's one of the things that's probably could be one of the igniting fluids that can go into that combustible element of Antonio Brown going off on the deep end on those guys, because of the simple fact you need a good running game so that they can respect it. Because if they don't respect the running game, they're just going to drop everybody back in coverage. And it's going to be hell for Derek Carr. It's going to be frustrating for Antonio Brown and a lot of other people. And then you're going to continue to perpetuate that same cycle that's been going on in Oakland for a few years, with them not being as productive as they should be on the offensive side of the ball. You need to have a solid running game to complement, which will in turn complement the passing game, which will make it easier on the defense because they can come back more fresh. They can come back fresh because they won't have to consistently be getting on the field because of 3-and-outs and because of short offensive drives or possessions. So Antonio Brown, he really was able to maximize his opportunity, because first of all, how many people do you know can get out of a deal where they still have 3 years left and $38 million, but it was incentivized, and he could come and get the majority of his deal guaranteed, play with the young team, be the star on that team, go into a new city and be the star on the new team in a state or a city like Las Vegas, Nevada, that is all about, showmanship and in some regards sports. Sports gambling is, the thing there. So I think Antonio Brown, hopefully he does really well. I mean, I always push for all athletes to do well. And it should be nice. But like I said, Antonio Brown going to the Raiders is a good thing. By the way, like, comment, subscribe. My name is Corey, and I will definitely be pushing out more videos. And I'm going to try my best to, try to get as much information as I can about other things. I'm going to try to do this daily, if not daily, weekly, but you will definitely see more videos from me. So I appreciate you for watching. And like I said, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can see when more videos are being posted in. Have a good day. Have a good day, guys. Sorry.